Sorry.
All right, thank you. Perfect timing, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm not sure if, I guess, is Tony online or is he, I don't know if he's coming. Okay, I haven't heard.
He said, I just saw him, he said he was coming.
Okay, well, he can come when he's ready, okay. Love to get started. I have to leave at the latest by 6:30 personally, if we are, so let's try to get it done by then, but if we are still going, then Bill can take over. Yay.
It'll be really fast because I'm hungry.
Yeah, okay, but I just want to let you know, whatever, hard stop at 6:30, okay. Or sooner, it doesn't have to be until then. Also, Harry needs to leave at 6:15, so, even more reason to go quickly. So, all right, so let's call to order. I think we have a quorum here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, more than a quorum, so we're good. All right, so let's just move along to approve the minutes. Does someone want a motion to approve the minutes?
I moved to approve the minutes.
Someone a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes from the last one? Aye. Great, thank you. All right, so we're switching things up a little bit this month, because we have our guests here to let them kind of be here and then leave, and I have to stay for the whole meeting, so, I wanted to excitedly introduce our energy coordinators for the Energy Prize, Ann Charlton and Kizzy Barton. So, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here and thank you for joining us. We're super excited. So I was gonna get that, hey Toby. I was gonna allow for this beginning part of the meeting for Cressica and Ann and Kizzy could kind of talk about what's going on with the Energy Prize these days and what everybody's going to be doing in the next steps. So take it away.
So we've had a pretty exciting, I guess you'd say, first week, right? Yeah, there's been a lot going on and we've all, like, a lot of us have been involved in it. So this is kind of the report of what's been going on and where we're going. You can look at it in more detail when you want. But yeah, the key points are that Ann and Kizzy have already hit the ground running on a lot of these like activities that we had hoped that they would get involved in right away, and they've already been wonderful about reaching out to residents and interacting with community groups like Harriet and Kizzy and Ann were able to go and speak about the prize, the sewing circle, and it was.
I thought it was very well received.
Yeah.
They actually are very interested in working with the command, already are on weatherizing their building and making the building more energy efficient. And there were a number of people there who gave Kizzy their names and they're interested in doing a home assessment.
That's so great. So we will be, like, our next activity is after the sewing circle, we're organizing our first home energy assessment day, probably with Evergreen first, and then kind of expanding out. And that will also, and then after that, we're doing a bunch of other projects that we're setting up with different organizations as well as the Island Institute. Yeah, to start, actually demonstrating how we can move forward and hopefully provide support for the coordinators to more island residents. And so, yeah, basically, Bill, do you want to say anything else about the sewing circle project or any other projects?
I do have some data, but I don't know if you want them now. It's up to you. Okay, really succinctly, we had an energy audit Thursday. It went well, it went quickly. I was disappointed that I did not make them do a blower door test. I don't know how that eluded me, but they did not. We'll get it done another time. The argument for not doing it was there's so much else to do, it doesn't matter that we don't have the blower door test data, okay? So it boils down to the fact that, and I have downloaded the data from their electrical use and from their fuel use, and it boils down to the fact that we will not save them any money on electricity. They already have LED lights. All the savings will come into through insulation And we have to wait for the report on exactly what the codes will be, and then we can talk with them about how to implement. So that's where we stand. Okay. We'll probably have that quote within the next 10 days. Nate Spector wrote to me today and said, I'll be working on that, but he didn't give me a deadline, so.
Yeah, so, after working with community groups, Kizzy and Ann are starting to build, the online resource and kind of a centralized, repository for information about all of these energy activities going on the island. And, we're calling the web resource, the Energy Hub right now. And so that's what,
On the
like, our little graphic is.
graphic in the
Um,
corner.
Kind of to give an identity to our islesboroenergy.org website that has just been hanging out there. And we'll start to actually be able to use that. And then they're also, starting to explore grants. And they're already getting training and support from the National Prize mentors. And at the end of this week, we'll be trying to get it together into our first report to Janet and the select board on all of our activities and the prize budget. So there's a lot going on for them. And I'm sorry. It's been great, Phil. Do you want to say something, and do you want to introduce yourself to the committee a little bit? And
Sure, hi, so my name's Ann Charlton, I just moved here literally a week and a half ago. But I have many family ties to the island, and I'm really excited to be here and to be a part of this really important project. So I'm interested in becoming a part of a lot of the groups on the island, and already been to the sewing circle twice, and people are starting to understand who I am and see my face and realize that they can reach out, and if they have questions, I have them asking me. So I'm just really excited to be here. Sorry.
I'm Kizzy. I know pretty much most of you, I think. I've lived here for 12 years. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I'm really excited to be part of something that could affect real change for Islesboro and really help people. That's a really exciting prospect, is to actually make a big difference in people's lives, cost wise and, in the bigger terms of ecology. So, yeah.
Okay, I think, pretty much that's the report of, oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. The things that we can now hopefully help and Kizzy on, now that we have them here, we can start sending all, like whatever information we can gather in the community their way, and then they can follow up on it with people. So asking your acquaintances or other, group members and community members to, direct their home energy questions and needs towards them, because the more information we get, the faster we'll be able to move on specific needs that the community has, or that whoever has, should we get together the installation, collective installation sooner, or, should we do the heat pump water heater sooner and stuff like that. So, we'll be moving on, a variety of different projects for that. And then, in general, just if there's anybody you think would be willing to talk to them about, home energy assessments or, their home energy plans, we would be very, very grateful to get them to just be guinea pigs, basically, and talk to us so that we could learn how to talk to people and, gather information that we need in order to apply for the grants. And also, if you know of any upcoming community events that Ann and Kizzy can attend, they have been really good about attending events so far. And and it's great to talk to people informally at those. And finally, identifying contractors and installers who work on the island that we can follow up with and start to understand costs and opportunities for, getting different contractors involved. So anything else? Can you think of?
No, that's
Cool.
good.
Yep, now that's it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Great, and then I guess, so just to clarify, do you want to talk a little bit more about like the reporting that will go on to Janet?
Yes.
Just like board about what they're doing and what they're gonna report and how it's gonna work?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like basically bi-weekly or Janet recommended monthly. Yeah, we'll set out a progress report. We have a number of metrics that we're tracking for this project in terms of, homes contacted, solar hosts that are on our, list to start being part of the solar network project and things like that. And we'll be able to track those as well as, our overall activities and report to Janet and the select board on that monthly, as well as bringing that information to the energy committee. And we'll also, we'll be tracking like all of our activities and all of our budget items and basically following what we laid out in the price proposal. Which is, it's all laid out there, so
Great, thank you. Yeah, awesome. Well, does anybody have any questions or thoughts or wanna set themselves up for a busy man to?
I'll be a guinea pig.
Oh, thank you, Holly. Yeah,
Thank you, Holly.
and me too. I mean, I kind of said it before, but I definitely want to. I think Evergreen's gonna come to my house in December, but it's still good to like, I mean.
I will email you 4 or 5 names.
That would be great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Bill.
Yeah.
Would you two be okay if I spoke to the club recommending you guys come out for a monthly meeting? One of our monthly meetings.
That would be
You guys-
wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love it, that's great.
And just a quick thing, if you speak to somebody, it's fine to contact us either they can call us. You're free to give out our phone numbers or our emails or just attack us in the store. We're pretty
Be more specific than that.
talk to in the store. We're pretty open to all forms of communication.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, great, thank you so much, appreciate it. Anything else? Anybody else have any thoughts or questions or anything?
I have a report, if anybody wants to hear it.
Well, wait, hold on.
Wait.
On the energy
I don't
price,
know where you are on the agenda.
we are still talking about this.
Yeah.
Oh, that, I have nothing to say about that.
Okay. If you don't mind waiting a minute, then we'll almost there. So I think that's great. It's super exciting. You definitely hit the ground running, so thank you to Kizzy
Can I
and.
ask an informational question? Will all the various meetings and transactions that are occurring around the community be recorded in a way so that everybody on the committee and everybody else in the community will know what's going on?
Well, I'm not sure I mean, I think that all the public activities are gonna be posted on the Islesboro Energy Hub or islesboroenergy.org website. I mean, obviously the day-to-day, I mean, they're just doing their job, so that's not gonna be recorded, but I mean, any sort of minutes with the select board and any sort of public meetings, yes, of course.
So what I'm talking about things like schedules, when things meet, the results, the plans, that kind of thing, so that all the parts fit together smoothly, which is essentially what the coordinators, I'm assuming, will be doing.
Doesn't that go through Janet? It doesn't go through us, it goes through Janet.
Yeah, they report to Janet. Yeah.
They
Well,
report to Janet.
how are we as a committee gonna find out
They
what
don't
our,
report to us.
what our obligations and jobs are if our coordinators don't get the word out and there's some system so that we'll know what's happening?
Myra will tell you.
Well, no, I mean, I think that so I think we should agree to some amount of, will you, one or both of you come every month to just, maybe, or every other month or something to keep us abreast, or just send, we could also include that that could be a report out that's included when I send out the minutes with Carrie, each month or something, so you don't have to come every month. I think that's not really decided yet, I think we'll just feel it out, what makes sense. And I think in terms of what people need to be aware of, I mean, we have our own internal committee and we'll be sharing information on our, emails and in the meetings, but I think, if you want to be tracking their active, results and what they're doing, I think, going on the website, I'm sure you're going to be sharing that on there And then obviously and to the select board.
Yeah.
And I don't see why we couldn't, whatever you share in the select board, we can just give us notes and we can, share it here or something. So I don't know if anybody else has any other suggestions or thoughts on that, but.
You understand why I'm asking the question, though?
I understand that you're asking the question. I mean, I understand why and that you want, you want to stay on top of it, but I think also it should be clear that like, are helping to like prop up this prize work, but it has like a bit of a life of its own that's also managed by the select board and by Janet. So, we want to watch it, but we're not like the decision makers or those that are deciding like if it's being successful or not. Obviously, we have like say in it. Of course, we have say in it, but that's how I see it. And Janet's now nodding her head like yes. So, so that's kind of where we are. Yeah. Does that help answer your question?
It's better. We'll see what the first round looks like, and then I'm sure people will have comments to make about how to improve it.
Sounds good. Well, keep us posted if you have any ideas.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. Anybody else have any other questions or thoughts? Cool, all right. Well, thank you. So we'll move on to the next section. You can stay for this or you can go. It's up to you. Okay. So now we're on to the quick updates on ongoing projects. And we'll just start with Bill. You want to talk about energy efficiency stuff going on?
That doesn't work. I've contacted Revision, and we are scheduled to have it repaired in about, a little less than a week, okay?
The
That's-
heat pump,
the
in case
heat pump,
people don't
yeah.
know what you're plumbing. Yes, the heat pump in this room.
Nothing to report really in this building with regard to energy efficiency. Kreska, do you want to talk about the lights and we have a problem with the lights in the firehouse. We're working on it, okay? It should be
Yeah.
resolved pretty soon.
Josh is.
Bill.
I think it's
Regarding the heat pump, is there gonna be a charge for that, or is that covered under the warranty?
at this instant, I don't know. I assume it's covered under the warranty, but we'll find out when
Yeah.
they come.
Because it would have to come out of the budget, and
I understand. It's been
Well, I
within a
think
year.
that would come out of the town's budget. Now that we own the heat pump, it's not coming out of the energy budget.
But I do think it's under warranty still. It's just that I don't want to say it is until I verify that. That's.
But that's really good to know too, like for us to remember, like we help to like maybe install something,
Yeah.
but once the O and M is for you guys, so that's good to
Correct.
know. All right, thank you. Learning new things all the time, it's good. Cool.
So I've already given you the update on the, sewing circle.
Mhm.
And at the moment, I think is there anything else in the offing that I'm forgetting? I think that's pretty much it.
Charger.
Oh, yeah, we're getting the charger, payment system set up right now.
Cool.
Yep.
The-
It has
the
been a
charger,
challenge.
The EV charger that's outside the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's.
But that's not really the same category, but yes.
Yeah.
So I think I'm done with that. This building is essentially done. We're just collecting data. The library is essentially done for the moment. We're collecting data. So there'll be no energy upgrades to speak of in either of those buildings for the foreseeable future.
Great, thank you. Okay, now we can move on to the fire, public safety kind of buildings. I don't know, Josh, you had been following it in Jessica, so I don't know who wants to speak, but.
Well, I mean, I'll start with what I do or don't know.
Okay, that's great, thank you.
After the email correspondence we had, I think it was Friday, Saturday-ish in there, and I was traveling a little bit, so I wasn't able to follow up. I was looking for more of a phone number, not an email address.
Yeah, he goes.
And then I got lost in trying to read it and but I emailed him. I wasn't able to catch up with him until it was over the weekend. Sent him an email. He responded back, basically just wanting to get in contact with the fire chief, find out when he can get in. Well, I said kind of oddly enough, kind of being in there anyway.
Josh, who did you try to contact?
Joshua.
That-
From Paragon Electric.
But
Yeah.
that's good news that he's in contact.
So he said that he was gonna try to, try to find a time to come over here and square up with that. Like, I know Bill, I think he mentioned it can't be anything too serious, but what it is probably just a wiring issue connecting those 5 lights in the ceiling to,
Oh, it's the lighting.
Yeah.
Can you say, just repeat what the problem is, or just?
well, it started out as kind of odd. The night we had our fire department meeting, it looked like there was a light flickering out there, and then
Hmm.
there was a series of the 4 across the front and one on the right-hand side beside the ambulance stopped working.
Hmm.
So I don't know, I'd find it hard to believe that all 5 of those units are bad. I think it's,
Yeah.
Since they're hooked in parallel, what I think is there's a short circuit on the first one closest to the circuit breaker that has opened the circuit, and the ones down line are not working. So all Joshua has got to do is find out which is the first in line, check the connections, and they'll probably be resolved quickly.
But he
That's-
also should probably check all the connections
Yep.
because there might have been a different pattern in the previous
Yep.
outage, which we kind of identified, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his problem.
This is- Well, it is ours, yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool, thank you
so
for doing that.
I just don't know what his time frame looks like and coming out here yet.
Got it.
But I'll follow up with another email tomorrow, just to see what he,
Great.
Thank you.
what he has to say about it.
Yeah, that's
Thank
awesome.
you, thank you.
Is there anything, and then there are other, like, projects in that building that y'all are talking about, but
Right.
haven't, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
with it? It's just, I mean, if nothing.
Like
that's
for example, the overhead door people have, I don't know if I haven't been able to
Yeah,
catch up with.
They
Josh
came
about
out
that.
here last week.
Yeah,
The far left-hand door, when you're looking at it from the front of the building, that door wasn't going down all the way. And it's supposed to come down and stop at its designated spot, but in order to get it down there, you had to hold the close button in. Get the door to close, and then in the process of waiting for them to come out here to adjust it, it bent one of the rods in the door to make it happen, so we became overhead door learning people during one of our fire department meetings. Straightened the bracket back out and then was able to get the door to close again, and then they came out here and adjusted the closure rate on the door and replaced the piece on it. And now the door is closing as it should.
awesome, great. That was easy, ish.
Yeah.
Once you have the people come here.
Okay, I'll definitely, I'm sorry, I'll follow up with you about that stuff. I have been remiss. I'm sorry.
Not busy as one would expect with all these things going on.
Yeah, all right, well, I think, yeah, there sounds like there was other projects in the works, but we will come back to them. I don't know if you want to speak to them now or other ideas.
Well, I know I haven't been able to catch up with Justin yet, just on the louvers for the generator that are always either open or always closed, depending on how you want to look at it. You can go out there and close them manually, but then when the power outage happens, someone will have to come down here and open them back up again.
Wow.
Did you send me an email about that, or was I just reading?
No, we did. I remember because we took a picture of the outside using the thermal imaging camera, and then I know you and I had emailed back and forth at one point about it.
I'll go look for it. If you ask me to do something, I'll go do it. I don't remember what it was.
Well, we were just trying to locate whether or not it'd be possible to have that hooked up to the generator, so when the generator turned on, they'd automatically open and then
The answer is yes.
close.
Either directly or by a solenoid switch, absolutely,
Right.
yes.
All right, well, things happening, that's great. Anything else on that end, Josh? You wanna-
That's all that I know of right now. I know we've talked kind of about, going with a thermostat route. I just don't know which one, where, and I know one issue we do have with the thermostat that's in the back of the station is the fact of doing our monthly inspection in the back of the fire truck,
Hmm.
where you've got only about that much room to get up there and slide sideways. The thermostat gets turned up and down, so I just make it a point at the end of the night to try to go back out there,
Oh my
turn the
gosh.
thermostat back down. So the one idea that I had was, instead of it being on that one wall, there's another wall going next to the door. If we were to just move that thermostat from that one side over to the other side.
Yeah,
There's another reason to do
Yeah.
that, and the reason is that that's directly through an uninsulated wall opposing the surface, the space that the furnace is in. And so in the winter, that heat from the furnace is gonna be affecting that thermostat. It should not be on that wall, so we should find a better place to put it.
Yeah, let's say that would be the only other wall you could put it on, just that way it wasn't interfered by people, but I don't know where else in that building we could try to snake a wire through to.
yeah.
I've snaked wires through really nasty places. We'll figure it out, and it's doable.
I mean, we could put it on that back wall. There's that air refill station,
Well, let's spend some time and
Sure.
let's probe that.
literally.
So will you be able to figure that out by the time we have our next meeting so that we'll know roughly?
I would think so. I've never run wires and walls before, but
No, just getting an answer to the
Oh.
question. about where it should go and all that.
Well, I think where it could go, we've already just kind of figured that out on that back wall of the refill station. That way there, it's on an insulated wall and not a.
It's a low voltage wire. We can
Right.
put it right against the surface if we can't fish it. It's not a problem.
Right, yeah, you could just surface mount it if you had. to.
Because if that thermostat is not installed in an efficient way, it's not doing its job.
Right,
So our job is to troubleshoot it right and get it in the right place. And then whoever
Yeah.
pays the bill. takes
yeah,
care
and
of
then
that.
just do away with that old mercury thermostat would be a.
Yeah. Would that be something Joshua would do or what?
It's something.
The wiring?
We don't need help doing this. We can do
We
this.
don't.
No,
Oh,
this is a
okay.
trivial task. It can be done.
It's possible to do it wireless.
It is. Yeah, but wireless, I mean, in the case like, look, let's talk about the details another time. But yeah,
It is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Sounds like we have a good plan for all the stuff that you all been thinking about. Anything else?
That's it, that's my final answer.
No, it's good.
No, I just kept having these, thought, that was my last one.
That's why I keep checking to make sure you have it. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Sounds like we're making some progress there. Finally, it was so hectic. I feel like that was like kind of just on the back burner, so now we can focus. That's good. Okay. Cressica, do you want to give a municipal building update if there's anything to talk about?
Okay, yeah, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow morning. We might have more information. It's a public meeting, I think, so, yeah, we'll find out more about the, construction manager process there. Yep.
Great, thank you. That's been quick. Toby, do you have any updates on the budget for us? I forgot, Toby, if you want a hard copy of the sheet that Toby sent around, it's at the front, we pass them around.
Okay, so everybody got a copy of the current situation. Thanks very much for taking care of that. I assume you did it, right? Yeah. So what this does, it tells you the record of the period between the 1st of June and now. And what the budget was, which is $50,000 for our share of expenses during the current fiscal year. And then the activity for each transaction that is recorded in the town treasurer's detail report. So that shows you how that money is being spent, which I think is important, and what for, and what's happened up until now. And then below that, you'll see the balance of what's left currently based on that detailed report. And there's some things probably that are not included that I didn't have access to at that time, so that'll be reported in next month's report. And then what I tried to do is write out all the budget amounts of things that we're working on. And the amounts in red show things that are still outstanding as far as I know. And what the total of that is which runs $22,640, it should say 20 cents. Then over and above that, we as a committee decided that because we didn't know exactly what the outcome of the Evergreen process would be, although we're fairly confident that it's taken care of. Then that shows that the two items that are being held up are the updates for the fire department and the 2 heat pumps that would go into this building. So, and those would total roughly $31,000. So that's roughly where we are now, as best as I can figure it, based on what I know. And I'll continue making this report every time we have a meeting. So with the 34,788.20, I just wanted to make sure that we're including the signage that they were never put in the original list. So I'm hoping we can add these two things to the list. One is the funding for the electric vehicle station outside, whatever those charges are going to be, and the signage that needs to be posted out on the main road so that people know that there is an electric vehicle charging station there. Once that's ready to go. So, would it be appropriate and okay to add those two items, and how much are they? Do we know what they are? I originally estimated $250 for the signage based on what happened with the community center signage, but that was a guess on my part based on that information. That the community center created, what, 2 years ago, Bill, roughly? And then we also need to know whatever the installation cost is, the connection cost, or whatever it's called, for getting that thing up and running. So,
Yeah, Holly, you.
My question is, does the ICC have signage by the road telling us
No.
that
No,
they-
just on the line.
So do we need to have that? Do
We have
just,
an app.
Yeah.
okay, so we have an app, we don't need anything else.
Yeah, it'll
We
be
don't need
posted on
signage.
all
we need signage because
apps.
we need signage because people don't know that that thing is there unless people.
If
Show
people
me.
have EVs, they're gonna be looking on the app to find out where the charging stations are.
Yeah,
They're not gonna be looking for signage.
You can also see, charging stations on Apple Maps.
Yeah,
You know, I know everyone doesn't
Yeah.
have iPhone, but if you type it in, it shows.
Yeah.
it.
that's how, I mean, that's what people are used to using if they have an EV.
yeah,
They're not used to looking for signs. They may look for the charging station when they pull into the parking lot, so if you have a sign at the station, they'll see it. But they're not looking for signs on the road.
yeah, I would agree. I mean, as a.
So what-
user,
what-
that-
Because I don't have an EV. Do you have an EV?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so when you pull up the app, what kind of information does it give you?
It tells you the address,
The
Just
exact address.
150 Main Road?
and
The
then
type
you pull
of-
into the parking lot and it's right there.
I mean, it tells you beyond the address, tells you exactly what kind of charger, if it's available or not.
Yeah.
I mean, how fast it is, everything. People can leave comments about how they've liked using the charger,
Yeah.
so it's and do we have a sign already? Don't we have a
I
sign?
mean, there's a little EV charger sign there.
Yeah, but it's.
There's Map Rock
Yeah,
Island,
it's fine.
and there's the ICC charging station.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you shrink it down, you can see a whole bunch of them.
And this is what a person would see on the app,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You can find a whole bunch in the area.
Yeah,
So we don't have to worry about spending that money.
okay, I hope you're right.
no, I mean, it's true. I would never, I mean, if you are starting to look, I guess, yeah, you would think maybe like a gas station, but personally, as I would start looking well ahead of time where I'm going, where the EV charger is. It's not like a gas station, you
Yeah.
just pop in because it takes time and you wanna make sure,
You
anyway.
Yeah.
plan your trip.
That will, because of what we're getting, it would automatically be in the system as an app. Is that correct?
It'll show up because that's one of the services that the company who takes care of the billing, they want you to use it, so they're gonna make sure that you know where it is.
Okay.
They don't make money if you don't use it.
A related question is, what about town vehicles? And if they want to use that charging station, what kind of a system is in place, or is there one to take care of that?
We just got it functional, Toby. That hasn't yet been
We're
resolved.
setting up.
No, but I'm
discount-
just
we're
asking,
setting-
how
we
would
have-
we apply that?
We have town accounts with discount, 100% discounts.
So
it'd
the
be
town
charged-
vehicles do not pay for charging.
Correct,
So it would be it would be recorded but not charged?
correct.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I think we should know that kind of thing.
All right,
Can I-
well,
Question,
yeah, who is this?
it's Fred.
Oh, hi, Fred. Yeah, go ahead.
When people are charging their vehicles in the front of the station, are they gonna be with the vehicle the whole time that it's charging?
I would definitely
Probably not.
say no.
Yeah.
Likely.
Because it's
not.
recommended that people stay with their vehicle when it's charging. I was just reading a report on that. And they say that they should stay with their vehicles when they're charging for safety purposes, in case of a fire. I've always had a concern about this because the fire station's right there in the ambulance. And I think that we should err on the safe side. And if they're gonna charge their vehicle there, they should stay with it.
I mean, well, let me just speak to that. I mean, we could, I'll just be
It is
super
recommended.
honest. Yeah, we could recommend it. I don't know how we would keep, I mean, some people sit in their car while it's charging, some people leave it overnight and, you know, it's. Because charging is different than gas. It's like, it takes, you know, half hour, multiple hours depending. Hopefully people aren't leaving theirs for like multiple hours, but you know, it's just hard. I think that it might be hard to enforce. However, I don't know how to address that actually.
But,
I mean,
but it is actually recommended that when people charge their vehicles, that they're supposed to be with the vehicle. And the only reason I bring this up is because it's right next to the fire station where the ambulance is
Right.
that there has to be a heightened awareness about that there.
Yeah.
And can actually forward the report through to you. I really would like this to go in the minutes if possible, that concerns about this. Because of the fact that it's a sensitive area, that's where the fire department and that's where the ambulance is. And it did say in the report and in the article that it recommends that people stay with their vehicle when they're charging. And if, you know, we've already had somebody hit the building with a vehicle before. The last thing we need is somebody to have a battery fire and then have a fire at the fire station.
yeah, no, definitely. Janet, go ahead.
Can I just speak to that? Owen parks his car there every day he's on duty for a week and he charges. He can't be in his car while it's charging.
But he's in the station though. That's the thing. He's right there at the facility. There's a difference. They're talking about like last summer when people would come and leave their vehicle parked in that spot and they would be gone for a day and a half and leave it there parked. And sometimes there was nobody there at the station to keep an eye on it. And I would have to wonder, did you ever speak to the risk pool for the town to see how they feel about that?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Fred. I mean, I think that's a fair thing. I mean, one might arguably say it's good it's next to the fire station because any fire would be put out immediately, but I know that
The
definitely
fires from EV, from cars, they emit out a very toxic gas, arsenic chemical gases combination, and if you inhale it, you're dead within 20 seconds. So it's kind of hard if there is a fire that happens at the fire station, trying to get into the vehicles, trying to get the gear, not breathing in the toxic gas.
Yeah, I mean, the front door to get into the fire station is right next to the charging station.
Not a good question. I rescind my suggestion that it was good location.
Of course, if people are
Oh,
paying,
the health center right there.
Yeah.
if people have to pay to charge their car, chances are they're not gonna leave their car for
I mean, the other
for
thing
a couple
is,
days.
yeah, I mean, the other thing is, right, I think it's something we're gonna have to work on and see and watch, you know, I mean, if we do see people leaving for long periods of time, maybe we could put another sign that says, you know, or please, you know, remain, you know, close by. I mean,
With
it's
your
kind-
vehicle.
Yeah, because it's also like, the town office, it's not like you can just walk to a lot of places and leave either. I mean, but people can drop their car off and someone can pick them up, so. I think, point taken, Fred, I think it's very fair and concern, and so I think, you know, we're gonna have to see how it's used and maybe Janet, I don't know what the risk group that was.
Maine Municipal Association.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure, but maybe, you know, also everybody who's here can start thinking about watching how it's used and seeing if it is being used overnight or, you know, for long periods of time.
We should get a record from the app that will tell us when it's used and for how long.
Okay, yeah,
I can tell you what happens at the ICC.
okay, yeah, that's good.
People leave their cars there for an extended period of time, many hours. We ended up putting up a sign that said, please don't leave your car for longer than 4 hours because some people were doing it for a long time. The reason is, this is not a supercharger. This is a quote fast
Exactly,
charger,
yeah.
but it takes hours to charge a car to the point where you can get any distance out of it. And so it's unlikely that people are going to sit in their car for the length of time it takes to charge the car. It's just unlikely.
What's the time limit at the community center, Bill?
4 hours.
4 hours. And Janice, you said you had a comment?
You had said that the EV fire could be put right out, but they can't, you're talking tens and tens of thousands of gallons of water.
There was a case just this week that we got in our EMS email, and it was a Tesla fire. And how long did that go on for? It was
Hours.
like,
mean, you have
it
to
was
just
like
let it
8
burn.
hours.
pretty
Bury it.
much.
You have to bury it.
Yeah.
You can't, there is
It,
no.
they couldn't put it out. It was
Yeah.
hours and hours and they just couldn't put it out.
Lithium's very reactive.
Well, I mean, yeah, battery
Of
storage.
course, if people have to pay to use it, chances are they're not gonna be,
Right.
people are taking advantage of it while it's free, and then when you start charging people, you may notice your rates. are
Actually,
gonna
no,
go
the
up.
ICC was used, the charge of the ICC was used repeatedly all summer long.
I mean, it's minimal compared to gas, you know, and to Bill's point, yeah, I mean, it's like with depending on how low your car is, I mean, the charge, it can take like 8 hours to fully, you know, do your car from zero.
Well,
so-
say if you're gonna leave it plugged in for 2 days, I mean, you're using your own electricity versus free electricity somewhere else, so.
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, no, but I think, you know, maybe we consider the 4-hour sign. I think that's a good idea, because in 4 hours, you could definitely get you can get yourself on your way. This is not meant to be, you know, someone's like, you know, personal car charger.
I
When
do
they're
think-
visiting for the summer, for example, it's like plug it in the wall, you know, that's.
We should have an alert about the nature of the location and the potential for fire, and that oversight of the work is strongly recommended.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that. I guess, like, what's the best way to share that? Man, I'll ask you, Janet, because you're here, like, in a constant contact email or something, or?
Probably, or if you got new signage,
Yeah, it should be posted right there.
post it there and take a picture of that.
Due to the risk of fire.
Yeah,
Well, I think
Please don't.
I think the rules that we've been talking about make sense. Number one, stay with your car while you're charging. Number two, you have a time limit of 4 hours, and anything else we want to add as time goes on. And then think about the question of whether that should be something that's printed in place that anybody who charges can read.
Just out of curiosity, is it possible to program this thing so it turns off after a certain amount of time?
I was just thinking that, or like the price increases astronomically.
Well, actually, that's exactly.
Like, that's bad.
So one of the ICC, we can charge, if people leave it on for too long, we can cut them off, or we can increase the rate of charging. I mean, the cost of
cost.
charging, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's something we wanna think about. Yeah, I was just thinking the increase of cost, not the turning.
Parking in the city.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, right, a 4-hour, maybe we just say like,
Get a ticket.
4-hour time limit.
Or get the
Right
boot,
there.
or get the boot.
Right, you gotta put the boot on something.
Oh, you'd love having an extra job to do.
That was a bad idea. Putting a boot on means you can't get a fire out of there because it's on the car, right? You don't want to do that.
So, okay, well, I think that this is, so, you know, perhaps we say, you know, time limit of 4 hours, and we'll put a sign that's similar to the, you know, ICC, and then, I don't know, did we just,
There could be a sign there that says, you should stay with your car. Now, nobody's gonna stay there every second, but if they're just going in the town office or
yeah,
something.
yeah, I mean, if somebody's like within a short distance, it's fine, but,
And I think I would tell them exactly why we're requesting that they stay with their vehicle.
Yeah. I
Due
agree.
to a fire risk,
I mean, what is someone going to do if it catches on
But that's
fire
just the
and they're with their car? That was my only other thought, like, I
You
mean,
get out of the way. I mean, we need to come up with a provision for that, because if it's on fire, nobody's getting in that car to drive it away. So there has to be an
Yeah,
alternative
like,
solution to this.
right, I mean, you stay with your car, but you're like, my car's on fire and help me, somebody, you know, like, I don't know.
Still,
Huh?
Sorry?
and you're plugged in still. so
Even
Right.
back away.
Well, even without that, I mean, the guys sort of on the EMT team, I mean, do you have training on electric vehicle cars?
Well, that's the problem right now, is you
Yeah.
can't find anyone to teach it, because there aren't there's anybody in the state of Maine.
Wow.
We should look into this. We
Well, I
should
mean, I
figure
shouldn't say
out.
there isn't, it's just odd to find, it's rare to find instructors right now, because when COVID hit, there was this huge decline in fire instructors.
Wow.
We used to have weekend classes once a year, and now those have kind of dropped off, they haven't had any since COVID started. I do know that they're having an electric vehicle class that, fire chief's gonna go to. I wanna say it's
It's next Tuesday.
the end of this month. It's a random Tuesday for a class. And it's like, I don't know who has time in their workday
Yeah.
to give up a Tuesday to go to it, but I know Mert's gonna go to it. and Bring back what information he can, but I know we've been looking at ways to to cool a car, they've got instruments you can slide underneath the car and add huge amounts of water to it to help cool it, but as far as putting it out, it's not gonna really happen.
I said her to ask this question, but it might be more appropriate to move the station, the charging, the charger.
Yeah, we'd have to do some trenching to put it someplace, yeah.
I mean, ideally, you'd
I mean,
put it across
initially,
the
he put
parking
it
lot.
there just to test it. If I remember correctly, when we decided on the location, we decided that location because we basically wanted to test it to see if people were gonna use it. We never at that point decided that that was the permanent location.
There was a strong recommendation about installing that thing where it was at the time. It went
Right.
forth nonetheless because it was done independently.
Right. But
Did you originally set it up because you thought that the cruiser was gonna be fully electric?
yeah,
Or hybrid plug-in, yeah.
That was part of the consideration.
yeah.
It's hybrid, but you don't have to plug it in.
Right.
Yeah. we want to have it. Well, okay, I mean, it sounds like this needs a little more discussion in this meeting. Determine
We need
next
more
steps.
information.
Yeah.
And also coordination potentially with the municipal building project if we're gonna move it, so.
Oh,
Stuff
would
like
they
that,
be doing
yeah.
stuff in the front? Cause I feel like that far, you know, the part, like if you're looking at the building, the far right as closest to the road would be the best spot to put it, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
we just have to coordinate with their
I know.
new parking
Yeah.
plans.
The best part of the story is we've already done all the complicated electrical wiring. All we need to do is extend the wire someplace. We have to trench and then, and then connect it. But it's, the hard part's already done. It's just
Hmm.
extending wires.
Well, does anybody wanna take this on as an issue to talk, to think through who maybe doesn't have? something working on? No obvious hands. Okay, well, we'll find assignments. We'll put this on I know, through email, see if people wanna gather, cause I think it wouldn't be too hard. I think, just communicating with those that are working on municipal building and the fire department and safety. So Fred, TBD, we're rethinking it, but it's good you brought it up and we're obviously, created good conversation and thinking about how to make it safer.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. All right. Anything else on that or? Okay. And then Dick, I know you wanted to give an update. I didn't put it on the agenda, but go ahead.
Thank you.
Mhm.
First of all, it's first because I spent a lot of time in Montreal with Hydro Quebec,
Yeah.
and I met this guy.
Uh,
And he had promised him that the Bruins were playing, I would wear a shirt. It's as simple as that.
That's funny.
Anyway, I believe Janet signed a contract for Constellation a few days ago or whatever, because I talked to Constellation today about future. And I also have notified we have a contract now with Constellation, which should appear on the municipal bills around December, first week or so in December, as we go through the metering cycle. And the savings is roughly about 5 or 5.5 cents a kilowatt hour, which will affect the charging station as well as everything else. I notified the other municipal entities here, both the ICC, the school department, and the Boardman Cottage. I'm gonna work in the church. And I think there's maybe a few others that I don't know about, like the sporting club, maybe non-taxable as well. I just don't know. And let them all know that the opportunities are there.
Sewing circle,
And what's that?
sewing circle.
They mentioned that to me today at the sewing circle. They wanted to know
What's
if
that?
the sewing circle, like becoming a member, they wanted to know if they
They
could be.
certainly
They
can,
can.
it's non-taxable.
The fact is they
That's
use
the
so,
qualification.
Yes, they're 501c3.
501.
they use so little electricity, they probably pay more to sign up than they're saving.
That was the question,
Yeah,
right?
it's $150,
Okay.
sign up, one-time charge
One time
forever.
charge.
The
Okay.
town had paid that years ago, so we don't,
So,
yeah, go ahead, Toby.
you're talking about a 5+ cents per kilowatt hour saving, is that what you said, for 1 year?
Well, for the year, we signed a contract for a year.
So it's a
We have
1 year
an option
contract.
of renewing that contract probably anytime we want to.
Okay, so whatever the contract length is, that's the saving.
That's right. It'll be-
And it's
it will be
locked,
sub-
it's locked into that rate?
What's that?
It's locked into that rate?
Yes. yeah.
Okay.
Can
Uh,
I just, Toby,
so, what?
the rate is locked in, the savings varies with what CMP charges. So if CMP goes up, then the
Yeah,
savings is
CMP
greater.
is a
CMP
regulated
goes
rate.
down, then the savings is less, but the rate we would be paying, we would be paying a swap.
Right, so CMP will update their rates in
The
January,
supply,
so we
the
don't.
supply is a part of the contract, it's 60% of your bill. And that is the rate that's firm, that's the contract that Janet designed. The other 40% is CMP, and that's a regulated utility, and any increases would have to go through the Maine Public Utility Commission. This Constellation rate is fixed by them, by a universal rate around this part of the country for energy. The company that's involved, Maine Power Options, is not a broker. They are under contract to Constellation to help people like ourselves get going. And that's their job, and they've done that.
So the other question I had was, does that vary depending on the time of use?
Now, that's another subject, and that's.
Not this
subject here.
contract.
This came out this morning. Maine utilities moved to time varying electric rates. My concern here, and I think we should have it as an agenda item every time we meet, is an update on what's going on the public utility side of the meter, because it's changing every day. I got another one here from, this happens to be Vermont, but it's talking about storage of one form or another on the customer side of the meter. I know about this stuff. And I think we should be able to update this committee every month on where the utilities are and the rate structure. Because every design decision we make, whether it's for the new buildings, the power station up the fire station up Island and the health center here, the energy decisions will be dependent largely on the rate structures of the utility. If it's a time varying rate, we have to consider it. It may not be cost effective, but it may be cost effective. So I think we should, every meeting we have, this committee, I should be able to at least point out whether there's any opportunities exist for us.
So the way I'm taking this is that regardless of what happens with that pattern, it would never be worse than the standard offer. Is that correct?
That's correct. I can't imagine it being worse than a standard offer.
Well, it
We're
could
walking
be
away
worse
from
than the
that.
standard offer, actually. I
Yeah,
mean,
But we
if,
should be.
Hypothetically.
yeah, I mean, if the PUC in January reduces the rates below what our rate is that we locked in, it could be worse, so, yeah. it's not- But that's why a one-year rate is better, because we could have done longer, but it's good because we don't know what the rates are gonna be, so.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
My main interest is in saving money for the town and the community.
Right.
So, based on the work you've done, it looks like that will happen to some degree, but we just
I
don't
have,
know what
I
that's
have
gonna
a
be.
task before me, which has not been assigned by this committee or anyone else, to see if I can find a similar thing for private sector people, like the people at this table, residents. I'm somewhat skeptical, but we'll see. I think I hear some noise on the other side of the meter, on the utility side, saying it's possible. I know it's possible for small commercial to get a rate that's almost the same as the Constellation rate. It's a little bit more, but that's small commercial. That could be the Pendleton yacht yard. And I know Richard has it up high. So I'm looking at that. But that's not, should be on the agenda. I should be able to report on where we are on any of this stuff once a month. Because it's gonna influence the design of the future buildings, whether it's up Island Fire Station, or whether it's the health center, how we move with heat pumps, or whether we move with some other form. Every solar system has to have storage with it, or it becomes somewhat meaningless. And that's how you get your big benefit. And particularly if it's time to use rates, and you got a solar system, they work together. Go ahead.
You can keep track of that
Yes,
and
I
then
do.
just submit it in.
I will, but I want to make sure on the agenda here, so I don't see it appear here, and it bothers me because it's gonna be a major factor.
Well, I think, I mean, in terms of the prize, you're saying it's not on the prize list of activity?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
don't see
think that
anything about-
the prize people are trying to do like the on the ground work, and I think, following policy isn't necessarily. However, they are in touch with the Island Institute now, and who are very much on top of this, and so any of the folks at the Island Institute is working with, they'll provide that, but I also agree, if you want to take it upon yourself to track policy, also, I'll just be honest with my job, I mean, I track main energy policy too, and, you know, there's also like a big storage procurement, RFI, there's a lot going on in Maine, energy-wise, which is exciting, so if you want to give a report out, Dick, on like all the things that are happening in Maine from the PUC perspective, that would be great, I'm into
I
it.
would, I more or less planned to do that, but I kind of wanted the committee to bless the idea.
No, I think it's not a bad idea, and, you know, I think,
Because I'm in touch with the utility commission here.
Yeah.
As a personal basis, I know of them, so, you know, I can call them and ask them what they're doing. And, they'll tell me.
yeah, and all this, I mean, I think others in the committee also track this stuff, so it's great, and we can also like add to whatever you have written or shared if we think we need to.
That's
So,
it.
okay. So-
Congratulations on Constellations, Janet. It's a major step forward. Thank you, dear.
Well, I think that we have come to the end of our meeting, it's 6:15.
Yeah.
Oh, Toby, better be fast, what's up, buddy?
Well, there's an important meeting tomorrow night at 5:30 at the library about a heat pump, program that the energy team is running. And, we'd like everybody to be informed of what's happening there. We have a Zoom meeting with, an organization that's going to be able to provide reduced rate heat pumps on a bulk buy process that, was originally created by a group from Harrison, Maine, who made a presentation at the energy conference that we ran last month. And, so that's a go-ahead program, with plans in place. And, we've already, heard from at least 10 people who are interested in it. And we're hoping more will be, offering, their thoughts and their willingness to participate, tomorrow at 5:30 at the library. We're hoping other people here, for example, can make that meeting and hear what's going on. And, it's a part of, the energy team's, desire to serve the community in the same way that other people are serving the community, for example, the program that the energy committee is involved with. So all those things will benefit the community, and we need to make sure that we balance that, share that. So please come, please be informed, and, please participate.
I will be there tomorrow night, Toby. I will be there tomorrow night.
Good, that's great. Do you live on Island now?
I do, yes.
Do you need a heat pump?
I'm renting a house, so yes, they definitely need a heat pump, but it's not my house.
And the other thing, I had a conversation with Melissa Olson today. As you know, I'm liaison with the library, with the energy committee. And she wanted to make sure that everybody knew that the board, of the library has made a decision that it wants to become involved, with a national, program that is called, let me find the proper name. The Sustainable Libraries Initiative. It's a national program that has guidelines that help libraries become sustainable, which includes things like energy and the environment. So stay tuned for more information about that. But they're taking the initiative as a board, and we, and I say we, the Friends of the Library, because I'm their treasurer, have already made a sustainability statement as part of our guidelines that we want to support that kind of thing. So, and we have a representative, our president, attends the board meetings for the library. So we're informed about that. So we want to make sure you know, and hope that the energy committee will participate as well.
Great, well, yes. What'd you say?
We are involved.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's really exciting news. It's called the Sustainable Library Initiative. Sorry, this is Bethany. Thank you for shutting the door. It's unexpected.
Sustainable, I think it's Sustainable Library Initiative.org, if you wanna look it up.
No, that's great. Yeah, I mean, obviously, just let us know, keep us posted what y'all are doing, and yeah, we already are doing work with you, but just let us know how we can help, so.
So I'm just making it clear that that's a decision that their board has already made.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm sure that opens up the door to other, just a network and support on that level, which may be helpful for us because we were kind of struggling in some ways to find, experts and that sort of thing, information about libraries, so that's good, cool. All right. Anything else? Any last minute things? All right, well, thanks, everybody. This was great, and it's a very short meeting. Yeah, good job, everybody. And also awesome work. Wait, Holly.
I was gonna make a motion to, I guess, end the meeting.
I second that. motion.
Sounds good. I'm just saying goodbye to everybody, but yes, I like that. Motion secondary. All in favor of adjourning the meeting? Okay, aye. Great. Thanks, everybody.
We have to make the motion to adjourn. Well, selection.
I will send it to you. Database.
Yeah.
I have to look it up on